Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about the 2024-2025 Jupiter in Gemini transit, part 2 of 2. Now, Jupiter in astrology is associated with truth and veracity. More people may begin to see the truth in superficial facades during this transit. If one is living vicariously through another's achievements, the truth may be more easily uncovered, and more people may be able to distinguish the real McCoy, so to speak, of something as opposed to an impersonation or carbon copy. It also can be about seeing the truth regarding dissipating oneself through lack of an integrating purpose, spreading oneself too thin. Now, also, too, it's important to look at the house this falls in during the transit, as this could impact how it affects you. This is going to be in my first house for the majority of the transit, and in the second house for part of it. Now, during the time it's in my first house, it may manifest in enlarging inquisitiveness, talkativeness, mimicry, versatility, and restlessness that may be easily expressed. And there may be a lot of exuberance for me in new beginnings associated with communication. During the time it's in the second house, it may be expressed in being lucky, in doing manifold things to generate money. It may also enlarge more communication type possessions, such as a new iPhone. And hopefully I won't be too enthusiastic about vicariously living through, others' achievements. Vicariousness can be connected with Gemini and be something strongly valued, which is the second house, being flippant there. But anyway, now it could also be a more prosperous time for me in general, considering Jupiter rules prosperity and the second house is the house of money. And with Jupiter being in Gemini, the money may be made, more animation, more vivaciousness, and by doing more than one thing. It's important to look at the aspects this makes to points in your chart, as this could be significant in terms of how it affects you. Now, for me, this is going to, make a conjunction to my natal moon in Gemini for part of the transit. And during this time, this could manifest in a number of ways. One way this may be expressed is that enlargement, which Jupiter does, and, of those high-strung, excitable, Gemini emotions. There may be more optimism, connected, with a very mercurial type home situation. And the fact it's in the first house may give more, vitality and energy to do this. And there may also be more of a need to express humor, with the conjunction being in Gemini, it might be tied in very witty humor and mimicry. And this being in the first house, naturally that people, others can readily see this. Now, another thing about this transit is that it is important to look at the electional aspects that this makes. Now, this is going to, early on in the transit, it's from May 25th, 2024 until June 1st, 2024. Jupiter in Gemini is going to make a conjunction to the sun. Now, collectively, this could be a time for many to focus, which is the sun, and on a philosophy, religion, higher education, and sports, which is Jupiter. And now being in Gemini, it may be a variety of those things. Energy and vitality may be enlarged and expanded for many at this time. And again, with this being in Gemini, it may be flavored with more restless and nervous energy. It could be about shining, which is the sun, in some Gemini-related sport. And you may see more trick plays in sports in general. And going back to Gemini-related sports, that could be ones that involve quick reactions, such as badminton or table tennis racquetball. I would say even pickleball could be in that, department as well, so to speak. Now, another thing is, a trend that's going to be notable, involving Jupiter and Gemini is when it makes a trine, to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius early on, in the Jupiter and Gemini transit. And this transit may be auspicious, for luck, which is Jupiter, and in being inquisitive, which is Gemini, in connection, with the power, which is Pluto, of AI, artificial intelligence, which is Aquarius. Now, this could be a time where it could be very auspicious and positive for getting, the answers, to questions, one wants in connection with AI with little or no difficulty. This transit may also manifest in the reviewing, which is retrograde, which for Pluto, and in the data, which is Gemini, that may have been stolen. And Gemini is connected with theft and by AI, artificial intelligence, again being connected with Aquarius. And Jupiter, is about truth and veracity, so Jupiter may help get the truth connected with this. And this transit aspect may also be auspicious for getting, an exorbitant, which is Jupiter, amount of information, which is Gemini, on understanding the transformation, which is Pluto, of humanity, which is Aquarius. Now, on September 17, 2024, there's going to be a lunar eclipse in Pisces, and Jupiter in Gemini will be squaring the Sun in Virgo and the Moon in Pisces. Thus, a mutable T-square configuration will be formed. Now, in this case, you're going to have the opposition with the Sun in Virgo and the Moon in Pisces. But this indicates, a tug of war, between wanting, the physical health, which is Virgo, and the need for the spiritual health, which is Pisces. Now, Jupiter in Gemini is the midpoint of the T-square, which can be the point of overcompensation, in which one may try to basically satisfy and resolve the opposing energies of the Sun in Virgo and Moon in Pisces. And because of this, that midpoint being Jupiter in Gemini could be about that enlargement of spreading oneself too thin in order to resolve the opposition, doing things too superficially to satisfy the energy connected with the Sun in Virgo and the Moon in Pisces. And all energies on this day, including Jupiter and Gemini, can be intensified because it's taking place at the time as the lunar eclipse. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.